Hello.
At last.
At last, yes. I was hoping you hadn't forgotten what to do.
I have been trying to get in, but somehow I made it.
Okay. I think you might need to increase your volume a little bit. I don't want to sound. Hey, thank you, Chinwe. Thank you. I'm
Can
trying.
you hear me? Can everybody
I can hear you. It's just that you sound a bit too far.
Okay, must be. I don't know how. I have to raise this a bit up.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, bro.
How's that?
Okay, that's better.
Because I think the voice is resting on something, but it's a lot better.
It's a lot better. Can you hear Mr. Ojeh fine, people?
I can see Israel, my brother from Nigeria.
Thank you, Tosin. Thank you. Wow. We've got people joining. Oh, yeah. Thank you for that, Chinwe. Thank you. Welcome again. Thank you. Welcome again to iAuthentic's Love as Is Marriage series. Thanks for acknowledging that. Where we talk about marriages, we look at marriages, dealing with ill health, disability with spouse, the challenges that presents, and also the impact on family life. So I just want to say thank you all for joining. We are going to share experiences, lessons learned, tips to give you hope, because it's all about hope at the end of the day, isn't it, Mr. Ojeh?
Absolutely.
Now I'm going to be, don't just bear with me when I interchange with Uncle David and Mr. Ojeh, because we have such a great relationship and it's trying to be.
I'm sure they know I call you Uzo Chikwa.
They don't know that yet, but I guess they now know that you call me.
They know. Sorry, I just let out the cat from the bag. Well, out of the bag, but that's fine.
Yeah, the only person that calls me that without being annoyed with me.
For you, yeah.
Because whenever my dad says Uzo Chikwa, then I know I'm in trouble. So you're the only one that calls me that without, me being in trouble. But anyway, just to a quick introduction. I am Uzo Muga, married to Chris for 21 years. 21 years this year. Wow. And we have and we have 3 children, 2 girls and a boy. They've been absolutely fantastic today. Ojeh, has just been phenomenal. And I really, really have to say a big shout to Ojeh, because the way she's just, taking over the cooking and everything without complaining, baking, it's been amazing. So, you guys should just thank God for my eldest, Ojeh. Chris battles with SCAR7. It's a variant of ataxia, a neurological condition. And you can find more about me on www.uzomuga.com. Tash, if you could please do me the honor of just posting that. So anytime I call out my website, if you could just do me that honor, that would be great, Tash. So before I introduce my guest, which some of you already know, there's a question box by the comment window. There's a question box by the comment window. If you could put in your questions there. And so in that way, because if you put your questions in the comments, it's more than likely I might miss it as it rolls. But if you put in the question box, then I'll be sure to pick it up. Any which way, we'll try our best to answer as much of the questions as we can. Having a man here, I know he's going to bring loads of questions. Anyway, I've prepped him, so he is ready. He is very, very ready. So, Mr. Ojeh, would you like to do a brief introduction of yourself?
Great. Trust me, it will be brief. I'm not a man of many. My name is David Ojeh. Of course, like you say, married. I'm on my second marriage. The first marriage, for those who knew me, for those who know me, my wife passed away. My first wife passed away about 13 years ago now. So, but remarried and by the grace of God, been restored.
Yes.
So we live in Milton Keynes. Uzo and I, we both go through the same church, and of course I've known Uzo and our family for quite a while, from way back for like almost about close to 20 years now, if I'm not mistaken. So thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And this could not have happened without Mrs Bolanle Ojeh, formerly known as Sis B. She's just joined. So a big shout out to Sister B. Everybody say thank you to her, because if not for her support, we will not be here. Not a lot of women are in that confident roles to allow their husband talk about issues that have happened in the past. So shout out to you, Sister B. Thank you so, so much. Yes, see, all these hearts that are just flying out is for you, not for me, it's for you.
Thank you, Aga. My Aga is up.
So let's dive right in. The topic is my pleasure, my pain, my restoration. Why my pleasure?
Well, pleasure is when one has been playing the field and you thought you were having fun, and then the pleasure was actually finding a friend, somebody, a life partner, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden the fun was not really fun anymore, because now you have found a pleasure in your partner. So of course I met my wife, my late wife, in sometime in 1983, and got married in 87 after dating for about 4 years. Well, we dated, because that's all I knew then. We dated. So of course we got married in 87 and then had children. But at the point, our children were all 6 and under. 4 children at 6 and under, so one had been busy, if you know what I mean. So I mean, so we got on with marriage, and things were good, because we of course we joined the church that loved us. We loved our church, and the church loved us. So it was really good. I mean, it was like being in the summer of your life, when
yes.
when you felt that one was complete.
Yes.
What I mean by summer of your life, even though it was raining and winter, but you just felt it was summer, because you felt totally complete, and doing what you really wanted to do.
Yes.
Being in a marriage, family was good, church. I mean, we had a lot,
Yes.
And then just like this morning at our service, as our Zoom service, our preach, the guy that preached to us this, he talked about, suddenly, all of a sudden, because he talked about this storm, that just comes to you without any notice. All of a sudden,
yes,
there was a storm, and it was a storm.
Yes.
Because we were just like in the summer of our life, just getting on with life, just started a business, and then, she had, normally what we'll call an issue. She went to the toilet and found just drops of blood. And I thought, no, I could, it's nothing. I mean, you're 40, so we thought that couldn't be. Go to the doctors, and then all of a sudden, it was that she had colon cancer. She was diagnosed with colon cancer. This was in 2002. And then the storm started. In fact, I remember I was at work that day that, a friend of mine came to tell me at work that this was the issue. So I left everything at work, went straight home. And then, is it true? She said, yes. Wow. So I said, okay, this is decision time, because choice has to be made. I had to make a choice. What do I do? Said, look at me. Her name was Kenny. We called her Kenny. I said, look at me. You and I were in this together. We are in this, so we're going to go through it together. Waking up, sleeping, we're in it together. So we started this journey.
And so sorry to continue. So how long were you married for when she discovered the colon cancer?
We got married in 87, and in 2002, So it wasn't really that. I think, well, okay, 2002, that was like 20, close to 20 years, I think. Because somebody can do the maths. I don't have my calculator. Yeah, about 28, 20 years. Or
Wow.
something like that.
Okay.
Because we actually married for 21 years. We did it for 24 years. Yeah. So before she passed on. So it was quite, so while we were running the business and all that, things were okay.
Thank you, Sis B. She's had 18 years.
18, okay. Okay, 18 by the time she got diagnosed, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Very good. So so we now had to go through a journey, a 5-year journey, which was quite.
It must have been rough. So what was going through your mind when she told you that? I know there will be shock at first, but then when you settle down,
shock at first, and then of course, we're people of faith. We go to church, so we trusted that this is just another phase. This will quickly pass. I mean, there's no way. We quoted, "This is not unto death. You are going to come out of this." So just let's trust God. Let's believe that this is a phase. And the truth of the matter, we believed God until the end. If you know what I mean. We never wavered. So, but what would go through my mind? My mind was like, okay, how do I look after my wife? That is really, so it's now about her.
Yes.
And nobody, if you know what I mean. Of course, we had to go through all the necessary, appointments, hospitals. So she had to go through the usual surgery to remove, the disease, and then went through the chemo. So we had to. So at one time I had to stop work. My work, so that I can concentrate on her. So which means most days there was always something. You gotta have to go to chemotherapy or go for scan, MRI scan,
yes.
doctor. So
yes.
So we were there all through together. So there was no question about that one.
So did you ever get? Oh, before I even go to that, how did you break the news to the children? How old were they? Then how did you?
Because our children were all in their teens.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean the oldest one was just about to do his, I think about 16, just about to do his O level then. So it was quite. I mean, I don't think it wasn't really a difficult thing to tell them. You understand? Because they were kind of grown enough. And we just told them that, listen, this is what has happened to your mother, but we know that, that she's going to come out of it. So let's just continue to pray and, encourage them. So the youngest one was 11 then.
Okay.
So we encouraged them, and they carried on, as usual. But we would gather and pray together and believe God for healing.
Yes.
So went through all sorts of, all the necessary hospitals and all things. I mean, at one stage, we had to go to Mexico because, of course, we had gone through the usual, the hospital appointments, and after she had gone through all the chemotherapy, they said there was nothing else they could do. So we had to go and look for alternative medicine. So we went to Mexico looking for that. Spent time. But really it didn't work. It just did not work. So eventually, after 5 years of, of treatment and praying, she passed on the 13th of January, 2007.
Wow. I'm so sorry to hear that. So, well, I know you've said that in a nutshell, but there's so many questions that will come out of what was going through your mind. How did you manage this? You talked about having to leave your job, so finances must have been affected. So it was
like I said to you, when you make a choice, you have to count the cost, if you know what I mean. At a point I had to go and sign up, for income support. You understand? Because that's the only way I could concentrate on her. So I went to sign at the,
job center.
collect then, so that we can concentrate, I could concentrate on her, and make sure that we were not, struggling. So we did that. We did that for a couple of years.
Okay. We've got a question that's come up. It says, was there a time you lost faith, and I will add to that, or struggled with faith? Because
there sometimes, don't forget, you were living with somebody who is going through this for a long time, and you can see them just deteriorating, right in front of you. So you have to question God sometimes. You have to question your faith. You have to say, okay, what is this? And but if you have, and you can't dwell on it for too long, because there's so much to do. You can't dwell on it. So, God, I don't understand it, but you understand, and I'm standing on your word. So we'll just carry on, And when you're looking at the pain of the other person, and you're looking at the pain of the other person, and you just want, you're out of it completely. I'm sure you can relate with what I'm saying, because
definitely.
I have to give it to you that, sometimes you and I will talk and say, how are you dealing with this? But because I've been there, so I can understand how things are difficult for you, But, at the same time, and the good thing is that we had a good support system, church, family, members of the family. So they were there for us, especially with the children as well. What I did not tell you is that where we lived in London was not the best of places, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And have three teenage boys, two teenage boys and the one that is just 11, to contend with. It was, trust me, it wasn't that, So we had to struggle with them as well. At the same time going through. I remember there was a time that even Kenny and I would, even though she was very ill, she would wake me up about 4 a.m. and I said, let's pray for the children. At 4 a.m. that we should pray for the children. And then we will start praying just for the kids, because it was a big challenge, trying to deal with issues with the children. Like, they still had to go to school. The teachers will call, this is happening and that is happening, So one was running here, there, and everywhere. Those were the challenges that we had, coupled with the, the disease, and then her passing away.
Yes.
And then, so we thought, really, when she was ill and all that, those were not even the pain period. Yes. That was the time that we were just facing the challenges.
Yes. And let's just stay there for a moment. And just to, because this whole thing is about getting a man's view. So we always hear about women, we like to talk. So it's so easy for us to talk. And I can't thank you enough for coming. I'm hoping that this will encourage other men to come forward also. Your brother has just attested to the fact that your faith was so admirable during that time.
Yes, but he was here then.
Yeah. So there's something that happened this morning with Chris. So a new symptom presented itself, and it caught me off guard. And with a woman, I'm very sure they will always say, "Oh, this has happened, and this is a new thing that's happened, and this is a new thing." But with a man, it's a different case, because Chris doesn't come out to say, "Oh, I'm feeling this," until I see it. So when it happened, and I said to him, "How long?" And he said, "Oh, it's been there for some time." I was taken aback, and immediately my thought process was, I went, "Father Lord, we've been praying." Then I stopped myself. I got up, went to the bathroom, brushed my teeth, got myself back in, and said, "No, I'm not going to be moved by what I see, but I'm going to keep declaring the word." There must have been times. How did you feel those times when you thought you were going somewhere? You thought, wow, it looks like we are going somewhere. I mean, we even experienced that with our son when he was in hospital. So then something else comes and you're thinking, what happened here? Where? How? What was going through your mind then, Uncle D? How did you handle that?
You can imagine going to the hospital. I get to the hospital, after a couple of bouts of treatment, and then you go for your next appointment and say, "Oh, good news, the tumor has shrunk." So that actually, that makes you happy. And then we thought, "Oh, wow, God, you're faithful." We were really happy about that. And then we go home, you know. And then they give you an appointment for a scan. You go and go for the MRI scan. And the result comes and says, sorry, you know, we got bad news. The disease has spread again. Do you understand? So you get all this. It's like a yo-yo, up and down, up and down. And we just had to now balance. I mean, we had to keep our faith grounded. And listen, you know, because we have to be careful of the noises that we're hearing. You know, from the doctors, from the people. I mean, there was a time, in fact, I got to a stage that a friend of mine, a very dear friend of mine, said, well, you know, rather than you stopping your work, why don't you just get somebody to look after her? Well, I said, yes, I could easily have done that, but I made a choice to look after my wife. Did you understand? You know, to make sure that I didn't want any third-party information. I wanted to be there to hear every single, you know, news that I had to get. So we went through it together. So the yo-yo, there's a you always think, you know, what went through my mind, you know, when you thought you were making progress, and all of a sudden something presents itself. It's just, well, this is just another, you know, another one that we need to get over. You know?
And you're quite right there, because I remember thinking to myself, once I got back, I said, okay, Uzo. Once I got back, I said, okay, Uzo, calm yourself down. Don't look at it. Concentrate on what's happening today, you know, and then pray. And a lot of us Christians, once those kind of things happen, the first thing you do is start praying, and you don't know that fear has gotten into your prayer. You know, we just think, oh, let's just start praying. And I thought, no, get yourself calm, relaxed, and then begin to declare the word of God rather than to start praying, because fear would always get into it somehow. And you think because you're praying to God, that is it. But, you know, you're praying out of fear, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, you know, and that's it, you know. I mean, I would have some people, you know, some family members, they're praying at the same time crying, if you know what I mean. I'm thinking, okay, but you have to allow them, you know, that's the level of their faith. So we can't stop it, you know. So we just have to make sure that, you know, we concentrate on this issue, you know. So we were there, we tried, you know, so, you know, we and then the children grew, but they were growing. I mean, they were, because they had to look at me, you know,
yes,
because they have to watch me, they had to read me, you know, and by reading me, so they made their decision. So until the end, so that the shock was when she now passed, if you know what I mean, because they did not believe it would happen. So the shock was me now trying to explain to them, you know, why it happened, how it happened, where's God, you know. So but you know, thank God, you know, I didn't lose them and they didn't lose me, if you know what I mean, you know, at least eventually, you know. So now we had to go through that process of trying to, I had to go through the process. We had, in fact, as soon as it happened and we did the funeral, and the good thing is that it was in February, the halftime, so we went away for a week, just locked down. We went on the lockdown, if you know what I mean. You know, I mean, took the children for a week, and we, you know, just to go and calm ourselves down. So by the time we came back, we could continue again, you know, where we left. Yeah. So that, you know, so they went back to school. We were dealing with issues, you know. In fact, at one time that my daughter had to start looking after me, you know, because I think I was now exhausted and drained, if you know what I mean, you know. But, you know, we got strength, you know, strength came. We still had our church family. We have friends who would look, you know, who would show up and all that.
Okay. I mean, wow, this is just amazing. How caring for a spouse with ill health, which, you know, is a lonely journey. Yeah. It is a lonely journey. How did you manage loneliness?
I mean, you know, in terms of loneliness, you find that because, I mean, that, you know, I'm not sure whether it's loneliness or rather sometimes you're just alone. You know, you feel alone. You know, people will come. You know, people will come, people will go. You know, there are some that, you know, it's so busy, but at the same time you're alone. You know, and you just have to, you know, just get on with it. I had so, you know, because of kids. Don't forget, even through this all, the kids were still young. So which means, you know, still have to take them to school, bring them back from school, deal with, you know, and do all that. So you don't even have time, you know, to think about yourself, you know, until you know, you get over all this, if you know what I mean. You get over until she passed on, and then all of a sudden, I mean, when she passed on, was that? Oops. Can you hear me? I think I lost.
Yeah, I can hear you.
So I think there was a period of 3 months after she passed on that I just didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to go out. Okay, I just took the kids to school, bring them back, and then lock myself in the bedroom and just sleep. I mean, sleep. You know. So that's part of my own, you know, trying to recover. If you know what I mean.
So that was your recovery. I've got a question here. It said, and the person would like to know, said, I want to know his feelings and emotions, which must have been all over the place.
Yes.
Did you feel sad, disappointed along the journey, and also after? How did you feel?
Yes. I mean, imagine when you have a growing family and you thought, well, this is it. This is just it. And then all of a sudden, this terrible thing came, you know, and then you had to now to deal with it. And you are dealing with it in anticipation, in expectation that it will pass, and then you go back to normal, you know. Just like this, what we're facing now, this pandemic. Some people are going through some serious challenges, you know, and they're expecting that sometimes, you know, somehow they will get over it. Some will get over it. Some will lose, you know, loved ones in the process, you know. So how do you deal with, you know, with the emotions up and down? You just have to have the faith, you know, like I said to you, you know, like somebody who goes to church. I strongly believe that, you know, I received my strength, you know, like what the Bible said. David, you know, he encouraged himself in the Lord. I took strength from the Word of God, and I begin, you know, so I was, you know, you have to study the Bible, read the Word, play, you know, music, you know, that will help you to go through the difficult times.
But was there a time where you just broke down and just cried?
No.
Wow. Okay.
No, I did not. I didn't go through that. You know.
Wow.
I'm not that so emotional, if you know what I mean. You know, or put it this way, like my wife will say that I always keep my own emotions inside until one day and I'll explode.
And did the dam ever burst then? And when did it burst?
Well, I mean, like I said, the only way I had to deal with it was, you know, after she had passed, you know, I just needed a rest. I just needed to calm myself, get myself back, if you know what I mean. So my way of dealing with it was to actually sleep, you know, lock myself in and sleep, and just, I didn't want anybody to talk to me. I didn't want to talk to anybody, if you know what I mean, you know. So that's really that was my way of dealing with it, if you know what I mean. And that really helped me, you know.
Yeah, I mean, as Sister B said here, he said he's not a crier.
No. you know. I mean, sometimes she, like, you know, she can testify to that. She's telling, and she said, "Oh, babes, don't you?" I said, "Listen, you know, I'm not like that. Don't make me like that." So I'm not that emotional. I keep it all there, and then you know.
But then, was there a time when you were very angry? Because I know you are always cool. You like keeping it cool. But was there a time when you were just angry at everything? You just angry?
I wouldn't say I was angry, you know. Of course, you know, how can you not be sad when you see somebody you really love just wasting away right in front of you? You know, you're sad. Okay, so I could be angry then that, God, why would you give me such a beauty? And then, you know, I think the level of my understanding then was that, God, why would you take such a beauty away from me? You know. Because you see, sometimes you think that God has given, God has taken away. But now I know better, if you know what I mean. You know, but like, you know, at the end of the day, I wouldn't say I was angry. I was sad, you know, of course, that this could happen to my wife. You know, anybody, let alone my wife, if you know what I mean. And you know that was a moment in time then. You know, and then having to lose somebody that you have been with for like 25 years, that's quite you know, something that
I'm going to come back to loneliness. you know, and the reason why I want to come back to it is because when a spouse becomes ill, there's a change.
Oh,
there is a change, and especially when it's seemingly progressive.
Absolutely.
Because somehow the person you started off with is not, it seems to be changing well in front of you. So which is why I said you must have felt lonely. How did you manage that? How did for a man especially, we women, we talk. We'll find someone to talk to. We'll find someone to talk to. But for a man, how did you manage that part?
I got through it, at least before I got married again, with the help of my children. You know, they didn't allow me to have a party. You know, what I mean party, that's a pity party. You know, they wouldn't let me do that. You know, they made sure that they got me, you know, engaged. You know, I mean, got me going. So, you know, let's go here, let's do this, you know, let's do that. So they were there for me. And that was really comforting to me, to be honest with you. I'd rather have them than anything else too. So that helped me a lot through the process. You know, like what you know, anger. I don't think I remember at all being very angry, if you know what I mean. You know, angry. You know, angry that okay, I could have been angry that, listen, how can this go away from me? You know, I was. That played a lot of part, you know, big part in it. That
yes,
how could I cope? You know, my coping mechanism. You know, I mean, I remember being in my bedroom then, you know, and I was looking for something. I think it was like my pair of socks, and I was actually speaking. It's like I was speaking to her that, you know, can you get me my socks, please? If you know what I mean, you know. And then when you now when the reality came to her and say, wow, she's not really that. Now that's when I became angry that, wow, this can't be on, you know.
Yes.
But one thing that I remember was I was driving to church one day, and I had to park the car, and I said, okay, God, now let's really talk now. What is the meaning of this? You know, what's this? You know, how can this happen? This is not the plan. I was actually expecting something different. That, you know, she was going to get well, we were going to get on, and you know, sometimes, yeah, and when you don't get an answer, what do you now do? You know, I still went to church, came back home. But, you know, at least after I left church and came home, I felt better, because that's the whole essence of having a church family and having, you know, to actually depend on God in all this. So that helped me a lot. Now, and then we went through all that, and, you know, 2 years on, God began the restoration process. So shall I start that, or do you want to?
Well, has anybody got any more questions before we go on to restoration? You know, has any? I'm very sure not, because there are already some questions coming up, and I'm just trying to see if there are going to be any more questions before we go into the restoration. Well done so far. Well done. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Restoration. Okay. One of the questions that came up was, and we might dive in and out into the different parts. At what point did you decide to remarry, and did you struggle on how to break the news to the children? How did you? What was?
I mean, I didn't set out to go and get married, if you know what I mean. I didn't set out to remarry, you know. Of course, you see, we continue with our life. Thank God the kids were, you know, especially, you know, at least 2 of the children, they were so committed in church, you know. So they were actually leading. So they, you know, I mean, one thing my daughter said then, I think she was just 16 then. And she said, okay, if this God is real, let me go and find him, you know. So she and her, one of the brothers now, you know, went to church. I mean, they were in church, you know, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, you know, and they were now leading the youth system. And that helped me a lot as well, you know, that they could commit themselves into going to church. That that was a blessing. So that I could get on, with my life, somehow, So we now gathered, we started building ourselves up, and then, what next? Time to look for, so you start. Of course, people will call you, people will talk to you, people will, say how you are. Of course, I was in church, not looking for something, but just concentrating in church. Did you understand? Concentrating on going to church and all that. Because I actually, I met my wife in church, not from outside. My boo, I met her in church, and it was so. And how did we meet? Because prior to that, of course, I'd been in Jesus' house in London. We had been there for quite a few years. And then I went to the posting with somebody else, Pastor Tune, to Uxbridge. So after Kenny had passed, I went back to Jesus' house. This was in 2007. And then I had not, so my pastor now posted me to a department to go and assist the head of the department. And that was guess who the head of the department was? Mrs Bolanle Ojeh. In fact, when I was put, she went back to the pastor and said, why did you bring this man to my department? This man that thinks he knows it all and all that. Of course, she didn't really know me that well. That I'm very shy. I don't talk. I'm not one of those that that you see talking. So I really don't say much. So she wasn't too happy that I was posted, but I was only there for a short period. Because in between that, she had lost her dad. This was early 2008. She had lost her dad, and I had just lost my uncle as well. And coincidentally, we had to go to Nigeria about the same time for the various funerals.
Okay.
So I went to Lagos for my uncle's funeral. So I told her, I said, well, when is your dad's funeral? I said, okay, I'll come.
Sorry, I'm smiling so much. It's just because of the comments, and Sister B, she's just.
So I said, I'll come to your dad's funeral, and then she was quite, she said no. Okay. She said, but my dad's funeral is very far. I said, don't worry, I'll come. I didn't know what I was getting myself into, having to, because we had to go to the village for the funeral, not in the township. So it was a long. In fact, I went with my brother Israel, and it was a very traumatic experience for me, going for the funeral. But when the truth of the matter is, I did not know that this was going to happen. But before then, if I have to, let me go back. I know that time is running out.
No, go back. Don't worry. If we don't finish today, we'll have a part B. Don't worry.
We had gone for a ministers' conference in Coventry at Warwick, and I didn't want to go, but eventually I called her, who she was my boss in the department. Listen, I don't think I can go. Why? Because I wasn't registered, but I managed to call one of our leaders, and then they got me an accommodation there. So I called my wife and said, listen, this is difficult. She said, okay, we can all drive together to the ministers' conference. That's how we really got talking.
Okay.
Don't want to go into all that.
Well, maybe Sister B has an Instagram chat show, where if you want to hear more and more about this, please follow her on CCB7, I think it is. If it comes up again, I will let you know. And then you can hear the full story. But how did the children feel? You coming to tell them, well, I'm going to marry again.
Wow.
Well, not I'm going to marry again. I'm going to marry because you didn't tell them the first time. Sorry. But wow. I found someone I'm going to get married to this person.
That wasn't easy. In fact, that was my biggest challenge, honestly. Having to, because we're talking for them with 4 different emotions, and it wasn't easy. they did not. They just didn't like it. They did not initially at first. Of course, they didn't. And we had to gradually go through the process. Go through a process. I mean, and it took one to accept it, another one to, they needed time, and I had to give them time. We had to give them time, to understand this, and where we're still carrying each other. And eventually, I mean, of course, we got married in 2008 October. At least, as soon as we got married, then it's another challenge, because
Yes.
now we have somebody else in our family, and new relationship that you have to build up entirely. So that was quite challenging. And I have to say that it got a stage that my wife, I mean, she was part of the restoration, if you know what I mean, because especially for our youngest son. I mean, thank God for my wife, because I don't know what I would have done if she had. I mean, she gave up her work, and we thought that was a mistake, but there was a plan for that, because being there at that time, leaving her job and being there for our eldest, because most of the time I was in Nigeria doing some project there, so I had to leave her with this boy to deal with. But now this same boy, now they are best of friends, if you know what I mean. So God, that was a big thing for us, big restoration for us in that sense. I mean, we've been married for close to
10 years
now.
this year. That I know, isn't it?
No,
not 10 years
10
this
years.
year.
10 years. We've been married for close to 10 years this year in October. Yes, that's true. No, more than 10 years. What are you talking about?
More than, okay.
Got married in 2008. Yeah.
Okay, all right. 11 years. So 11 years,
so
it be saints.
So it'll be 12 years in October.
Okay. So, I mean, we've got questions that come up, but the questions that are coming up are people who have come in somehow late. So we've already covered those questions. So you would have to watch the video again once it's on IGTV or YouTube to be able to get that knowledge that you want from this. Wow, Uncle David.
So I mean, part of the restoration is actually, I mean, getting married, and that. So of course, when I was getting married, when I know that the marriage was coming, my prayer was that God, at the end of the day, let me get married to somebody that will help me to expand, to grow in the kingdom, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
It's about really fulfilling God's
kingdom.
God's mandate. And that is what we're doing now. By the grace of God, now we have four beautiful grandchildren.
Wow.
Counting by His grace. I mean, so God, the restoration is just there, and I'm just grateful to God for that. I have a wife that we can talk and laugh at the same time, if you know what I mean.
Yes,
and do the work together. And I mean, like right now, they've all left home. It's just the two of us at home now, if you know what I mean. So they just come and visit. So it's been fantastic. And
somebody said, Uncle David says he's shy. No shyness in the chasing level. We just have 13 minutes left, and it's not easy having men to come out to pour out their heart and share their world and share their emotions, their experiences. And as I said earlier on, I'm hoping that this will encourage more men to actually come forward to say, look, this is what I went through, but this is what I learned, and this is what would help you. So I'm hoping that this will bring more men. What would you like to say to men out there, who might be going through something similar to what you did before? What would you like to say to them? What are the key things that you like to say to them?
At least, the most important thing is, at least when you're going through a situation like this or a challenge, you have to decide that, okay, there's a choice to be made here, because that helps you to actually you know, move forward.
Yes.
You have to decide, make a choice on what to do. You know, I have to tell you, there was a time when Kenny was ill, you know, and I had a friend whose wife was going through the same situation, and because he couldn't cope with it, he left home. You know, he literally just left. You know, that he couldn't handle it. You know, so a choice has to be made. Number one, and then you have to, because it's of course when you make a choice, like I said to you, there's a price to pay. You have to count the cost. You know, but you know that by the grace of God, you will, you know, God will help you through it. So for a man who is going through it, just know that if you can hold on to your faith, hold on to your belief, trust God that, you know, I'm talking to you from a Christian point of view, because that is my faith. That is what helped me through it. You know, and hold on and then trust God, and then God will give you the strength to carry on. To be honest with you, God will give you the strength to go on. And you know, and the most important, you know, have people who can be positive in your life, who can encourage you as well in a positive way. Not because, to be honest with you, there are some times that we had other, you know, we had people who came with some bad vibes, negative messages, and you know, and you have to try and get rid of those. Shut the door on the bad vibes, and you don't want to hear. So there was a time that I had to keep her phone so that she's not hearing all sorts, if you know what I mean. Yeah, you know. So let me take them all in, and then we can make sure that we're not at a disadvantage. For a man that is going through this, my advice is for you to just hold on, believe God, and you can't lose out. You know, you cannot lose. You cannot lose, because there will be restoration at the end of the day. I am restored, and I thank God for it. You know, and that's what we are. You know, I would give. I'd advise a man.
Wow. Wow. Gosh, this has just been an amazing journey with you. An amazing journey, absolutely amazing journey. People, we still have 9 minutes, so you can get a question in or so. The key message here from Uncle David has been: take strength from your faith, take strength from your family, and positive people around you. And also you have to make a choice and find strength in that choice. You find strength to make that choice, and in that choice you just have to find the strength, and there's hope. There is always hope, and yes, God is faithful. You just have to keep holding on. You can't but not afford to hold on to God, because somehow, one way or the other, there will be restoration. Isn't that so?
Absolutely.
There will be restoration. And yes, for Pastor David, for Uncle David, that's me. I call him so many names. So just let me flow.
Flow, don't worry.
For you had to balance so many things. There was a time when you were ill. You were ill. You had to balance both. You know, her pain, your pain. It's not an easy thing.
I remember when we went away for treatment in Mexico, you know, and she was so ill that I had to take her from the clinic to a hospital where she had an emergency surgery. I was so ill that I couldn't even walk.
Wow.
You know, and at the same time, I had this person that, you know, needed care. So it was one of those, and we're talking Mexico, and the hospital. You know, when you go to these people, they want the money before they even touch you.
Yes.
You know? So those were the trying times. You know, but somehow God saw us through it all. You know, God saw us through it all.
Wow.
And you know, this morning we're talking about storm. You know, we were talking about storm this morning. You know, do you know? I'm sure maybe somewhere in this country there's somewhere that it is raining there. You know, there's storm somewhere, and here it is sunny.
Yeah.
So in life, people are either in a storm, going into a storm, or coming out of a storm. You know, those are the circles of life. So I remember one guy saying that, you know, don't wait for it, prepare for it.
Yes.
Because it's, you know, those are and just the fact of life. You know, Jesus says that, you know, in this world you will have, you know, storms, but be of good cheer. You know, so we have in this thing, you know, God is with us and He will see us through it, and that is how we went. That is where we were able to cope with it. You know.
Just a quick one, just before the countdown starts. Just one last question. You know, there's always one person that will sneak in that last question. What was that point, or when was that point when you felt truly restored?
You know, and it's a process. I don't think that you get to a point that you say, okay, now this is it. You know, I mean, restoration is a process. I'm still being restored, if you know what I mean. You know, I'm still. Don't forget, you know, I'm now in my marriage with my new wife. So I could not bring my experience from the old marriage. You understand? Into my new marriage, I cannot bring old wine and mix it with new wine, if you know what I mean. I thought I could do that until I tried it. It didn't work. And then, you know, so, you know, because, okay, now we're talking marriage, because all of a sudden you can't bring your experience and come and put it in this new thing. You know, it's like bringing an old wine, you know, and putting an old wine in a new wineskin. There's going to be confusion. So I now have to start, you know, learning. I had to unlearn to learn.
Wow, unlearn to learn.
I had to unlearn so I can learn, you know, to get used to this new wine, so that I don't mess it up with an old wine, if you know what I mean. So I had to tell my new wine that, listen, you know, so I said, look at me, babes. In my eyes, you can do no wrong. You know, not that she doesn't do wrong things, but in my eyes, she does no wrong. That's a choice that I had to make as well. You know, so those are part of the restoration, and that helps us to grow in this relationship that we're in. You know, so that one is not tearing one's ears down, if you know what I mean.
Yes. Wow. You have left people with a lot of hashtags. Unlearn to learn. Learn to learn. Yes. Don't wait for the storm. Prepare for it. Some of us have heard that so many times, and we know we always, you know, whenever we hear that saying, or we actually say it also. It's always aligned. We always think about Uncle David, because that is one of the things he loves saying. And I know we're going to get you back at some point, because there's just so much. We have just scratched the surface, really. Yeah. There's just so much. There are so deeper questions. There are so many things more men would like to know. And please, send me your questions. Send me whatever deep questions. Just come out and say, look, here I am. Ask me anything and I will tell you. So send those questions in. If you want to get hold of him, let me know. Whatever it is, we want men not to hide things to themselves. We do not want the men to keep things to themselves. We want to say, come out and share what it is that you're going through.
Yes, absolutely. You know, I mean, it's encouraging. You know, I mean, I have been through this process, if you know what I mean. You know, and like I say, restoration is not something that is done once and that's it. Restoration, it's continuous, if you know what I mean. One is being restored every day, day by day. You know, so of course, I'll be very glad for us to come and discuss marriage again, and and so that we can encourage ourselves, and that's what it's all about.
Definitely. The difference.
This lockdown has to bring out the best in everybody. You know, like what you're doing now. That's I can assure you, this is your assignment.
Thank you.
This is your assignment. And I'm so glad that you're doing it. I'm excited and I'm encouraged by it. And I pray that God will enable you and
wow, we've got the countdown now. Thank you so much, Uncle David. Thank you so much, Sister B. I say thank you to you, because we couldn't have done it without you. Thank you to my own family. My children have been a rock. I want you guys to please say thank you to my eldest, Ojeh. They've just been so special. To Chris for just being there, just being that calming effect on me, trying to get Kanye to not bother me. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you for that. Thank you for all of you who have joined, who have kept the conversation going. Uncle David will definitely come back because we're going to be looking at marriage in ill health and marriage not in ill health. So this is an interesting time, and there are so many interesting topics. What I want to say is that this video, we're going to put it on YouTube by the end of the week. If you missed it and you want to go back to it, please go on to our IGTV. You will find it there. I can't thank you all enough. Remember, you have to be real. This is about being real. And if you know any gentlemen who feel that they have something to give to inspire other gentlemen, please send me a message. It will be great to have you. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you, Uncle David. You did it.
Thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you.
God bless you all.
It's been real. This is
remember to visit my website. Sorry, were you saying something?
I said this is my first time of being on TV, and I'm so excited.
Sorry, Sister B. But anyway, thank you all. God bless you. Remember to go to my website, www.uzonwuga.com.